Hello book nerds and welcome to the first annual Everyday Epic Bookish Awards. We are your hosts, Amy
and Kelly,
and today we are going to be talking to you guys about the books, the characters, and the covers that stole our hearts in 2023. Alright, well before we get into the nominees and the award show, let's talk about 2023. I don't know about you, but much like the year 2023, my reading was up, down, and all over the place, and ended just kind of on a mid note.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Late year reading slump didn't help any.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only good reading thing for me in 2023 was that I actually met and surpassed my Goodreads reading goal.
We did say that once we did that, we were going to go out and treat ourselves.
That's
and
true.
we did not do it.
Well, there's always...
Because I met and surpassed mine as
That's true. So
well. So we are owed.
We are a book shopping and ice cream day.
Yes, definitely.
For sure. Speaking of Goodreads...
No, speaking of Goodreads.
Yeah. The Goodreads Choice Awards. Now, those of you who have been around the channel for a while probably know that Kelly is not a huge fan of the Goodreads Choice Award winners, typically.
No, not typically.
They're kind of like the Rotten Tomatoes of the book world.
Most of the time I don't understand.
Yeah.
Really not any exception in this
Well, let's take a look at...
Let's check.
Let's take a look at the award winners. So this year they brought in a new category for the Goodreads Choice. Romantasy.
Romantasy.
Which, how are you feeling about that?
It's
half of your favorite genre. Half your favorite genre.
No, it is not.
Fantasy.
No. No, it is not. Okay, so here's my first thought is I'm glad because now Sarah J. Maas cannot take the whole damn category every year that she puts out. But there's part of me that thinks it's still stupid because these are romance books. Just because you set a romance book in a fantasy world or have magic or in space or on a California beach, it's still a romance. The rest is just window dressing. So to me, there's no need for a romantasy category. You should have just had them as romance to begin with.
Yeah.
I am kind of disappointed with what they cut out of categories, though, as far as like they cut children's picture books. And they cut poetry as well.
It was on the list, I thought.
I don't think so.
I'm going to have to fact check this real quick.
Fact check me.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think
you were right.
Because there was children's picture books.
There was.
And that is not on there anymore. And they did away with poetry as well. Yeah, but they have like 3 categories, which is basically the same thing refitted, which is nonfiction, biography, and most of the comedy section is biographies.
Yeah. So
why the need for those 3 categories and cut out a singular category makes no sense to me.
Right.
But as far as romantasy goes, I am glad it's out of the fantasy category myself.
Yeah, then you wouldn't have Fourth Wing.
I would not have Fourth Wing to deal with.
That was the winner for romantasy this year. Assistant to the Villain came in second, and then Ashes and the Star-Cursed King.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of them, honestly.
Haven't heard of him. Well, Assistant to the Villain.
Yes, Fourth Wing and Assistant to the Villain. Yeah, but the others.
Yeah, no,
I take that back. There was one other one. Go down. The Hanging City by Charlie Holmberg. I really like Charlie Holmberg, so I read a lot of her books, and I read The Hanging City.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think
Emily Wilds was on this.
She was in fantasy.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I would not have to be dealing with Fourth Wing as a winner because I know that there's a bunch of you that thought it was just amazing, but I read part of it, so I at least know somewhat what I'm talking about.
But I'm not discounting it yet. I feel like since it is a hype book, I'm going to find myself reading it at some point just to give it a shot. But
the sample that I read was bad. And the quotes that I read.
Yikes.
Now I will qualify that so that I'm not totally bashing. This is not my genre. Romance is not my genre, and these are romance books. Again, I don't care where you set them. It's romance.
So, moving on to your favorite
My
genre, fantasy.
favorite genre is fantasy, and I'm not happy.
Shocker.
I mean, again, I know y'all love Lee Bardugo, but dang, people, these books are not good.
No, because Hellbent was the winner for fantasy this year, and that's the sequel to Ninth House, which we did for one of our book videos. It was a back-to-school reading, where we read books set in a school, I think. And yeah, we both ended up giving Ninth House fairly low ratings, I think, like 3s?
Yeah,
3 and a 2.
2.5, 3, something like that. I might have given it a 2 because I gave the other book a 1 that we read.
Yeah, so
oh man.
But with that being said, I think I'm going to read Hellbent because I have a feeling that Arlington will be in it.
Well,
more.
You were gonna read it anyway, and I was just like, okay.
Because I really liked Arlington.
I did too, but not enough to deal with Alex for 450, 500 pages. So you can just tell me how that works out for you.
I will.
Number 2 was Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I have Tress on my shelf somewhere. Here it is. So I had fully planned Brandon Sanderson. I always have cover. It is beautiful, and I always have a good time with his books. So I'm not upset about that one. I haven't read it, but I've heard nothing but good. Now, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. It's 800 pages first, and
honestly, so many fantasy books are such big chunkers that it's just such an intimidating genre to even want to get into.
I'm talking 800 pages, though. That's like 2 of these. That's like this. Oof, that's a lot.
That's like Priory of the Orange Tree length.
Well, that was this author too. A Day of Fallen Night is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I thought about reading Priory. I didn't. I just really didn't. It didn't click with me, and 800 pages. So I can't say. I have read a sample of Day of Fallen Night. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't catch me. So I really can't argue with that one because not like I'll argue with Hellbent. And number 4 was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia Fairy, which everyone knows.
That was like one of your top books of the year.
One of my favorite books. I have 3 different editions of it, and yeah, it was very sweet, very cute book, and I really liked that one a lot. So yeah.
That probably would have been like your winner. If you had to choose out of this list, would that have been your winner? Out of this list,
I don't know. It's definitely the only one on the list I've read that I liked. But I've heard really good things about Martha Wells' Witch King was on there. Where's the one? The Will of the Many. I've heard good things about that one. I have a lot of these books. I just haven't read them yet. So, that's the one I've read. I liked it better than Lee Bardugo, that's for sure. Travis Baldry's Bookshops and Bone Dust was on here, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I thought was pretty meh. So I would have picked it over that one for sure. There's a V.E. Schwab, and I have really mixed feelings about her, so I don't know, but yeah. I have a lot of these books. I do intend to read them.
I didn't know Cassandra Clare had a book.
The Adventures of Amina I can't talk today. Amina Al-Sarafi. I have that one too. So,
I heard it was really good.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good books on here. We all know that Goodreads is a popularity contest, not a quality contest.
Yeah.
So, I understand that probably name recognition alone had lots of people reading Lee Bardugo. So,
right.
That's where it went. But I'm like, come on, people, we still get to vote.
That's fair. But that also kind of...
How about yours?
I was going to say, talking about popularity contests and names, the winner for horror, which is my favorite genre, was Stephen King's newest book, Holly, which I wasn't completely surprised by, considering that everywhere I look I've seen this book. I go out in the wild and I see it. I open a computer or whatever, there's ads for it. It's everywhere. It's haunting me, which I guess is good for a horror book, but
well, you know.
Yeah. I haven't read it yet. I was like kind of putting it off because, quite frankly, a lot of his newer books are ones that I haven't really liked or found too intriguing. Aside from The Institute. That one is a good one. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I love The Institute, so. And then How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix came in second, which, again, not surprised by. I've been seeing that book everywhere as well, and it's Grady Hendrix. Anytime he has a book come out, it's gonna be a popular one.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Mixed feelings on Grady, definitely, but for the most part, I'm leaning towards, like, liking him more than disliking him. House with Good Bones. Like, there were so many good books on here, and I just the fact that Stephen King won for this category, it was definitely just because he is the king of horror, because he literally beat out T. Kingfisher, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. It's like all of these other amazing, Stephen Graham Jones. Like, these authors, these books should have, I think they would have gone above Stephen King, but just because he is the king of horror.
Well, and like I said before, being a popularity contest, you can vote in any category. So it's not like, you know, you're restricted in any way. And so, like I said, when the popularity contest is, if you go into other categories that you know nothing about and you vote, you're voting on name recognition.
Exactly.
You may not have ever read the book. So... I don't know.
Vote on how the cover looks and all of that.
Sometimes I wish it's like you could only vote if you'd actually like read the book and rated the book on Goodreads. But I suppose I'm being a little nose in the air. But it is frustrating when
it is
a book that you've read and you know is good, and then you watch, you know, booktubers who are flipping through going, I don't really know any of these authors. I had never heard of any of these books. I like this cover best.
Like, no. Just don't vote.
Just don't vote. Well, I can say A House with Good Bones. It deserves to be there.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. Well, it's T. Kingfisher, so I'm not going to... Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think that she is an amazing writer.
I am surprised that Silver Nitrate was not higher on the list.
I know, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't read it yet. It's still on my list to read, but I mean, I haven't found a book by Sylvia Moreno Garcia that I haven't loved. Like Mexican Gothic, and what was the other one that we read?
Gods of Jade and Shadow.
Yeah. She can like kind of transcend different genres, and she does well with it every single time.
It's so good.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Alright, so what about, let's see, should we just go to the fiction, talking about not knowing any of the books?
Not knowing anything.
I didn't know a single book in the fiction category.
I had heard of Yellowface, and I looked at reading that one, which I'm kind of surprised, because R.F. Kuang is a fantasy writer. And I had thought Yellowface was kind of, I mean, I knew it was generally what it was generally about, but I thought there was fantasy elements in it, so I thought it would be on the fantasy list, but I apparently am wrong. There's always a first time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Wayward was... I knew that there was going to be a reaction to the historical fiction winner, which was Wayward, because I see it sitting over there in the books to go pile.
It's in the get rid of
pile.
It is in the get rid of pile. I don't understand this one. I mean, I read it. It got a 3 stars for me. It was meh. I was not overwhelmed by it. Excuse me. I thought it was very predictable and very run-of-the-mill and very much what you would expect. There was no surprises here. If you really want a better witch trial book, read Slewfoot.
I really want to read Slewfoot. Like, you made it sound so good.
Oh gosh, it's good. It is good. It's a little draggy in the middle, but it pays off in the end. That's a much better. This one was just your standard women's fiction 3 different stories of 3 different women in 3 very predictable categories. I mean, kind of. I mean, the middle one was not as predictable as the other 2. I don't know. And then in the end, there was just some really weird things that went on. But I just, no, I don't think it deserved to win.
No. Well, it won twice because it was also the winner of debut novel.
Are you serious, people? Come on.
Yeah. Well, this was the only one on the list that I'd heard of from the historical fiction category. So, and I honestly kind of wonder if it didn't win because of the cover, because that's the only reason that I want to read the book.
Well, I think a lot of people did read it.
Okay.
And so, you know,
because it won by a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah, it won by a whole lot. I mean, fair enough. At least people read it. So there was some, again, the historical fiction part of it, I just don't, I don't think so. I've heard of a lot of these. I haven't read them, though.
You're better than me.
Over Isabel Allende? Come on.
Oh.
I have not. I haven't read any of these others. So I can't say how it stacks up, but I just can't imagine that it stacks up
like that
to Isabel Allende.
Yeah.
I think from what I was reading too, the one that came in 2 was The Covenant of Water, was kind of the one that everybody expected that would win. But I think Wayward kind of enjoyed, I don't want to say it was like a book talk or a TikTok sort of thing. But kind of that general, because it got popular with the popular crowd.
Right.
And so I think that's why it won. Mystery and thriller.
Mystery and thriller, one of my other favorite
genres.
genres.
Yeah. When I saw that.
Yeah. So the winner was The Housemaid's Secret, which is the sequel to one of my most hated books of 2023, The Housemaid. You can go and watch one of the wrap-ups where I talk about why I hated The Housemaid so much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it right now, but I can feel the anger bubbling inside of me, so...
It's too recent.
I got PTSD.
I can't talk about it.
Honestly, I am pretty disappointed with the whole category of mystery thriller because we also have Riley Sager on there, which I knew Riley Sager was going to be on there because it's Riley Sager. It's one of those, like, it's a name thing. But the only one left was his worst book. By far. Worst book.
It was bad.
I haven't read None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, but I have heard really good things about her book, so I'm okay with that one being number 2, I guess, for now. What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall is farther down on the list. I read that one this year, and it is a amazing thriller. Like, that should have been up there a lot higher. I think I gave that one, like, 4 stars. I don't know. I'm just overall disappointed with that category. So, granted, I don't know what else I would have put on there, but it's just not what I would have voted for sure. Oh, should we go to sci-fi next since that's...
Oh, yes, sci-fi.
That's your secondary.
That's kind of my secondary. Yeah, I have not read. In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune is on top. And I have read one other of his books. And if this stacks up to that one, I can see why it won. I do plan on reading it because it's kind of billed as a mixture of fantasy and sci-fi, which I think is always really interesting. Lightbringer. Okay, here's another problem that I have with Goodreads is they don't, like, they will put in the 5th, 6th, 7th book in a series because it came out that year. And I'm like, which I guess, I mean, it meets the criteria. It came out in the year, but it just annoys me because I'm like, it's a series. It was already in the beginning. It was already nominated. Anyway,
Right.
Whatever. It's a pet peeve, but I guess. Anyway, Lightbringer, which is the Red Rising Saga number 6. I have been interested. I hear that this is a love and hate sort of thing. Like, people either really love it or really hate it.
Yes.
The Red Rising series. So I do plan on reading Red Rising. And number 3 is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. And they've heard really good things about this book. That it's humor, but it's a guy whose family is supervillains. and his uncle dies and leaves him his lair. So he becomes the heir to the supervillain and kind of
awesome.
has to defend his lair from the other supervillains who are wanting to take control. So I think it sounds hilarious, and I do plan on reading it. I mean, the latest Murderbot is on there, which doesn't surprise me any. I still have not read any of those, but I do want to. The one I think I was kind of surprised, but maybe it didn't come out this year. The Scent. Anyway, it's about this girl, and they're leaving Earth. Earth is dying, dead, whatever, and they are a colony sent out on a generation ship. So they're all like put to sleep, kind of thing. And her family is a family of storytellers. And in the course of their journey, someone tries to sabotage it. There's like 2 different factions, political factions, and someone tries to take over, basically, by killing off other people in their cryo chamber sleep thing. But it sounded really good, and really brought in how this girl's family of storytellers, how important storytelling is, and maintaining traditions and heritage, and somebody's going to be able to tell me what this book is. And it maybe didn't come out this year. Maybe that's why I can't find it. We'll figure it out. But if that came out this year, I'm kind of surprised that one wasn't on there. But like I said, that might have been a 2022 book, maybe.
All right, romance. Not my category, but I am extremely happy with what won.
Well, of course she did. Of course.
Y'all, Emily Henry can do no wrong. She's an auto-buy author for me, for sure. And like I said, I'm not a romance reader, generally. So to have a romance author make me have them on my auto-buy list, that's saying a lot. Her books are amazing. Absolutely love it. Happy Place is the one that won. So yeah, I absolutely loved that book. It was so cute. Oh, little Harriet and Wynne, their chemistry. Oh, it's so cute. Yep. Love Theoretically was the second place, which I think is the sequel to Love Hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that on my shelf to be read. Haven't read it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about. Oh, the Love Hypothesis. That's what it is. Not Love Hypothetically. Love Hypothesis.
Yeah. You can tell how much we really read this genre, can't you?
Right. Yeah, and then yours truly was number 3, Abby Jimenez. So there's a lot of authors that I recognize and a lot of books I recognize because TikTok, and I have friends who read romance books. I'm surprised the 7-Year Slip didn't actually get higher in the list because I've heard that one a lot be mentioned. You Again was also one I was surprised wasn't higher, but I really don't have too many takes on this because it's not my genre.
Okay, so what if there was no romantasy and the romance fantasy books were in romance? Do you think Fourth Wing would have beat out Emily Henry?
Yes.
Do you?
I do think so.
What were the votes?
157,000.
397. Wow. That surprises me. That really surprises me.
Are you kidding me? The way that people went crazy over, like when those books came out,
yes,
bookstores could not keep them in stock. Emily Henry was different. You could get Emily Henry books.
Well, yeah, but as a proven author, they do big print runs for her.
True.
But I am surprised though, because really, I think your romance reading group, you people, I think it seems to me like they're kind of the big, the big reader group. There's a bunch of you guys out there.
I honestly think that romance readers are the top category of readers.
I think
would
so
get
too.
behind that.
What do y'all think? You think that's true too?
Let us know. Because
I think that's true. Because I think it's just it appeals to a broad audience. Mm-hmm. So, whereas like science fiction and fantasy doesn't appeal to such a broad audience, or horror.
The big books and all.
Yeah, and I think I think romance does appeal broader.
That makes
But
sense.
so yeah, I am surprised at that one.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, but it is sad to me.
300, almost 400,000 of you are. I know, I'm gonna shut up because y'all could take me down.
Wow.
Better luck next year.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Because the sequel to Fourth Wing came out. So, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what's gonna be
Iron
there.
Flame.
Know what's gonna be there. Well, I don't care as long as they keep it separate.
Stay out of my category.
I don't mind romance fantasy. It seems like I'm bashing the whole subgenre, but I'm not. I read at least one book and have plans to read another one in that genre, but those great big hyped books are never good. I'm sorry.
Well, as we've established on this channel, we don't tend to like the hype books anyway,
No.
regardless of what genre
I
they
mean,
come in. So,
Because what's funny is like the booktubers that I follow and stuff, they all hated it. There was one girl that did an hour-long rant on it. And so I'm not alone in thinking this bad book. So what is it? I mean, is it the spice? Is that what y'all are in it for? Is it like 50 Shades of Grey? Because that also was a horrible book. Oh my gosh. Wow. I couldn't get through the first chapter. I mean, you know, whatever. To each your own and all that, but I don't understand.
right.
I don't understand because I can't even read a book that doesn't have good writing. That doesn't make, you know, if it makes you cringe, I can't get through it. So
That's fair. That's
is
fair.
it the spice? Is that what? I don't get it. Is it the dragons? Because that I could get behind.
I can get behind the dragon.
I could get behind the dragons. So if you're reading it for the dragons and skimming over the romance part, I'm cool. Okay, I get it. I get it. I don't think that's it though.
I think that's just a perk to whatever else it is that they like, but
Probably.
Who knows?
Probably. Well, anyway.
anyway.
I'm glad y'all liked it. I'm glad 500,000 of you liked that book.
Alright, well I think all of our nominees for tonight have finally found their seats on the shelf, so I think we should get started on this award show.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Alright, so the first category for the Bookish Awards 2023, Best Male Character.
Okay.
Okay, so the nominees for me are Hoon Kame from Gods of Jade and Shadow, Cass Lockwood from Anna Dressed in Blood, and Charlie Lastra from Book Lovers.
And the nominees for me were Wendell Brambley from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Linus Baker from The House in the Cerulean Sea, and Sir Conrad von Valt from Justice of Kings.
The winners for Best Male Character 2023, Cass Lockwood, Anna Dressed in Blood,
And Linus Baker from The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Alright, I'm excited to talk about this for a minute because this is...
It is Dean Winchester
Yes!
in a book.
Yes!
Teenage Dean Winchester. It's how I got her to read the book in the first place.
That's all anyone ever needs to tell me. Is that this character is like Dean. I'm in. Sold. Got me. And that is exactly it. Like, I loved Cass so much. You know, he definitely is a teenage Dean. You
Yeah.
nailed it on that
Yeah.
description. And it would have been wrong for me to not have picked him as my favorite male character for the year.
I'm a little simpler. Linus's growth and his story and his character arc and how he just goes from this lonely, trudging through life kind of guy to just being someone so self-assured and loving and knowing that he's loved and the found family that he has in this book. He was so sweet and funny, sometimes intentionally so, which made it funnier actually. So that's why I picked Linus.
The next category we have is Best Female Character. The nominees for me are Cassiopeia from Gods of Jade and Shadow, Miriam from Spinning Silver, and Nora Stevens from Book Lovers.
All good choices. My nominees for Best Female are Mara from Nettle and Bone, Emily Wilde from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and Theodora Eddings from Half a Soul.
And the winners for Best Female Character 2023 are Cassiopeia from Gods of Jade and Shadow,
and Mara from Nettle and Bone.
very solid choice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you as
for
well.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We
Yes.
loved Sassy Cassie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was the main reason. I just love the sass that this girl gave off, and it's just the fact that she's just walking around with the god of death. Was that his title?
Yeah.
And she didn't give two flying flocks about it. You know, she was just like, I'm gonna just sass my way out of this situation and whatever. I loved it.
She
Loved
did.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Mara, because she was so normal. Like, you know, you could see yourself being Mara, and just the fact that she was just not a hero. And she had to go out and be a hero, and she's just such a relatable character.
That's fair.
And just, you know, the way that she was with everyone else, and the emotions that she went through, and the growth that she went through too, and you know how she had to force herself to do these things, and it was not easy for her, and but her strength of character is pretty amazing. So
Yeah. There's really not a bad character in that book. Quite
there is
frankly.
not, as we shall soon see.
Yeah. Next category, we have Best Supporting Male Character. For me, the nominees are Daniel Arlington from Ninth House, Star King from Spinning Silver, and Fenris from Nettle and Bone.
Oh yeah, good choices.
Thank you.
Good choices.
Thank you.
So my nominees for Best Supporting Male Character are Ronan from the Raven Boys cycle, Lorray the Demon from Gods of Jade and Shadow.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the demon.
Yeah. And I could not I could not find, I know he has a name, but I could not remember it and I could not find it. But it is the sourdough starter from A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, the winners for Best Supporting Male Character 2023 are Daniel Arlington from Ninth House. Surprise, yeah.
And Lorray the Demon from Gods of Jade and Shadow.
Yeah.
The homicidal sourdough starter in T. Kingfisher's book was a very close second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very solid choice there with Lorray.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just love Daniel. Okay, I know he wasn't in Ninth House that much, but there's just something about Daniel that just gave me little butterflies anytime that his little name came across my pages, okay? So, yeah, I loved him so much.
Yeah. Well, Lorray the Demon was just cool, man.
He was.
I mean, he was just a cool cat.
Mm-hmm.
And he was smart and funny and kind of one of those, he tried to charm his way out, and when his charm didn't work, he didn't quite know what to do. But yeah, he was a cool cat. I liked him.
Yeah.
Homicidal sourdough starters, though? Very close second.
Yeah.
Or, you know, fighting gingerbread men, also very good.
Moving on to Best Supporting Female Character. My nominees are Justine from Girl of Nightmares, Agnes from Nettle and Bone, and Meddy's mom from Dial A for Aunties.
This is funny. This is funny. So, my nominees for Best Supporting Female Character are the Aunties from Dial A for Aunties. All of them as a group.
I was gonna put all of them, but I'm like, I don't know if I can put all of them as support.
I did it.
You did it.
I did it. The Dust Wife from Nettle and Bone, and Agnes, the fairy godmother from Nettle and Bone. Okay.
And the winners for Best Supporting Female Character 2023 are Agnes from Nettle and Bone
and Agnes from Nettle and Bone.
Yes.
Agnes was the best.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
just the best.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely loved her. But like we said earlier, there was no bad characters in this book.
No.
So,
no. I chose Agnes over the Dustwife simply because Agnes had this... The Dustwife kind of was what you saw she was, right? Demon chicken and all. Agnes was like this sweet grandmother, godmother figure, and yet her power was so dark. I mean, she was like the bad godmother.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was like, but she was so sweet and kind of this bumbling, fuzzy-headed, you know, flitted around. So, yeah, I just like that contrast in her character. And the fact that when she talks about it, she's like, well, you know, I just have this ability to, you know, it's no big deal.
It's no big deal. Yeah. Loved her.
I did love her.
Loved her.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up, we have Best Cover. For me, the nominees are John Dies at the End by Jason Pargin. Still haven't learned how to pronounce his last name. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And Horror Store by Grady Hendrix.
Solid. Okay, so my nominees for Best Cover are House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon.
Also very solid choices.
Yes, I think so.
The winners for Best Cover 2023 are John Dies at the End by Jason Pargin.
And The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon.
We like things with skulls and skeletons.
We obviously do. And I really like the color scheme with the skeleton and the grave. And it's just kind of that contrast of sweet with... I always like anything that contrasts with itself. I like that. So
yeah.
But yes, skulls and... If I had read The Ballad of Perilous Graves this year,
that would have been the winner.
That would have been the one. But again, it's got those
cover.
bright Mardi Gras colors with the skulls and the skeletons. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
This cover and the spine and all of it was like, it made me buy this book. That's what made me buy it.
It did.
It's what made me keep it on my shelves after reading it too. Next, let's go to Best Storyline. So for me, the nominees are Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, The Troop by Nick Cutter, and Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher.
My nominees for Best Storyline are Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Justice of Kings by Richard Swan, and What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher.
The winners for Best Storyline 2023 are Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia,
and Justice of Kings by Richard Swan.
There honestly is not much in this book that I could complain about, or like I didn't find very many plot holes or anything. I absolutely loved the romance in it. Like, it was so, like, such an understated romance, and it's just so cute and so sweet, and it didn't take over the whole book when it came through.
Yeah.
And I just loved the chemistry between Cass and Hun Kame. Like, there was just so many elements to this that was just, it made it such an amazing book, and it's one of the only books that I read this year that I actually, like, really want there to be a sequel to. Like, I need a sequel.
Yes.
So, if you're watching this, so yeah, come on.
I think we said when we talked about it before, we really want to see Cassiopeia and Lorraine in New Orleans.
Yes!
We really want to see that.
Please!
Please. Your version of New Orleans. That's what we want to see. So I ultimately went with Justice of Kings because it's very much a broad epic fantasy book. So it has all the things that you would expect, the world building and the political clashings and the religious clashings and the sword fighting and the running around. Everything you would expect to see in that book, plus of course the magic, which is really interesting. And I think Richard Swan does a really good job of balancing all of that out. And when you can have like the antagonist in a story that really like irritates you and really wants to make you like reach in and rip their heads off, I think it's good storytelling, and I think he does a very good job. And the relationships between the characters, there's so many different types of relationships at so many different levels, and he just does a really good job of balancing all of that. And I'm not generally one that gets into political fantasy much, but this one I really, really liked quite a bit. So that's why ultimately I chose that one.
Very good reasons.
Yeah.
All right. The final category for the first ever annual Everyday Epic Bookish Awards is Best Author. So for me, the nominees are T. Kingfisher, Nick Cutter, and Emily Henry.
Ooh.
I know, it was so hard to pick one.
I know. I know. So my nominees for Best Author for 2023 is Sylvia Moreno Garcia, T. Kingfisher, and Stephen Graham Jones.
Oh, how do we pick just one?
I know. I know.
The winners for Best Author 2023 are Nick Cutter
And T. Kingfisher.
Snaps. So I love the other authors that I put for nominees. They're definitely the top authors for me and ones that I'm going to continue to buy all of their books just in moving forward. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is also one that I will not balk at buying her, but like I'm going to just accumulate all of her books.
Auto buy.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure. For sure. So, yeah. But Nick Cutter is the only author out of that list that got such a strong reaction from me while reading his book, and I ended up changing my rating to a 5-star.
Did you?
I did, because I haven't stopped thinking about his book that I read this year since I read it. I remember reading it and just, I knew 20 pages in that I loved the book. And I did not want to stop reading it, and anytime someone interrupted me, I was upset. Visibly upset.
Go away.
Go away. And I love his writing. I think he did a really good job. There were so many different characters in the troupe, and he did a very good job of keeping all of their different point of views separate, but still making it all cohesive and make sense. It's just, it was so well done. I loved it. And yeah, I'm so excited for all the rest of, I'm gonna just auto buy his books now too, after one book, so yeah.
Yeah, I saw on our here's a new plug, on our Everyday Epic Instagram that you are reading a new Nick Cutter.
I am.
So there you go. So, go check us out.
Mhm.
The Everyday Epic.
I'll have it linked in the description down below.
Yeah. Okay, so I chose T. Kingfisher. Well, for obvious reasons. She's wonderful. But I chose her over Sylvia Moreno Garcia simply because I've read more. And she has never, ever disappointed me. There's a couple of books of hers I did give 4 stars to instead of 5, but really not for storytelling reasons, mainly because I thought they were too short, if anything. So that's the main reason that I chose her over that. Otherwise, they are, neck and neck with me, and they're both auto buys for sure. Stephen Graham Jones, because he's so wonderfully weird, and his book was one of the few horror thriller books that I read that scared me. And I will be reading his books, definitely, again. So, yeah. I don't know. It might take me one more book. If I liked it as well as The Only Good Indians, then he might be an auto buy. He's not quite an auto buy yet, but he could be. He could be.
He could be.
But yeah, T. Kingfisher, absolutely. Sylvia Moreno Garcia, oh yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, rapid fire, what was your favorite book of 2023?
Don't rapid fire me! I don't know because I don't remember all the books that I read.
I just didn't know if you had like one that just stuck out.
No.
No?
I mean, I had some really good reads. Gods of Jade and Shadow and Nettle and Bone were 2 5-stars for me. But yeah,
I guess you guys will have to go to our TikTok and our Instagram to see what our favorite books were.
Yeah.
Mine was The Troop, in case anyone was wondering.
The only 5 stars she had. Well, no.
I had Three
You
5
had
stars.
What moves the dead too? Oh yeah, well, what moves the dead? So there's that too. I can't do rapid fire. You have to think about these things.
That was our first ever annual Bookish Awards. Woo! Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and also hope you enjoyed hearing our reactions to the Goodreads Choice Awards winners. If you're not already subscribed, go on down below the video, hit that little red subscribe button, join the Everyday Adventurer family so you can see our beautiful faces every Sunday with book videos just like this one.
Yes. And be sure you do check out the rest of Amy's videos on her channel because it is not all just book content. There's many, many other things you can see. And she also has a blog that goes more in depth than some of the videos does and also introduces other topics as well. So check it all out.
Yep. And like I said, our TikTok, Instagram, link down in the description below. So go join us there for even more bookish content. And hope you guys enjoyed watching our awards show. And I'm Amy.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are
The Everyday Epic.
See y'all in the next one.